What began as an ordinary day quickly turned into a terrifying ordeal that has now captured national attention. In a story that sounds almost unbelievable, a young girl managed to escape an alleged kidnapper by hiding inside a suitcase, an act of quick thinking that authorities say likely saved her life. The incident unfolded rapidly, leaving the community shaken and raising urgent questions about child safety, vigilance, and the unpredictable nature of crime. Within hours, the story spread across social media and news platforms, drawing widespread concern and praise for the child's extraordinary presence of mind under extreme pressure. According to initial information released by law enforcement, the attempted abduction occurred in a residential area during daylight hours, a time when people typically feel most secure. Investigators say the suspect took advantage of a brief moment of vulnerability, creating a situation that escalated before anyone nearby fully realized what was happening. In those critical moments, the young girl was forced to make decisions no child should ever have to make. With fear mounting and options limited, she acted instinctively, choosing concealment over panic. Police officials described the child's actions as highly unusual but undeniably courageous. Rather than running or calling out, which may have alerted the suspect, the girl reportedly found a suitcase nearby and hid inside it, remaining completely silent. Experts say this level of self-control is rare even among adults, let alone children, especially in situations involving fear and uncertainty. Her ability to stay calm under such circumstances has become a central focus of the investigation and subsequent public discussion. As news of the incident broke, authorities emphasized that the situation could have ended very differently. Kidnapping cases often rely on speed and surprise, and victims rarely have time to react. In this case, investigators believe the suspect was briefly distracted or stepped away, giving the child a narrow window to act. That window, though small, proved decisive. By the time the suspect realized the child was no longer in sight, confusion set in, ultimately leading to a failed abduction attempt. The suitcase itself has now become a symbol of survival, representing an ordinary object turned into an unexpected refuge. Law enforcement sources say the suspect searched the immediate area but failed to locate the child, eventually fleeing the scene. What followed was a tense period in which neighbors grew suspicious after noticing unusual behavior and hearing faint sounds that did not seem normal. Those observations would later play a key role in ensuring the girl's safety. From a broader perspective, the incident has reignited discussions about personal safety, especially for children. News analysts and child psychologists have pointed out that while no single strategy guarantees protection, awareness and quick decision-making can make a crucial difference. The girl's actions are now being studied not as a recommended method, but as an example of how instinct and courage can intersect in moments of crisis. Officials caution against sensationalizing the event, stressing that the primary focus remains on finding the suspect and preventing similar incidents in the future. However, they also acknowledge that the public response reflects a deep sense of relief mixed with disbelief. Stories involving child abductions often end in tragedy, making this outcome particularly striking. The fact that the child emerged physically unharmed has been described by authorities as nothing short of remarkable. As the investigation continues, police are urging anyone with information to come forward, while also increasing patrols in the area to reassure residents. For many parents, the story is a sobering reminder that danger can arise even in familiar surroundings. For others, it is a powerful testament to human resilience, even in its youngest form. What remains clear is that this incident, defined by fear, instinct, and survival, will not soon be forgotten. As investigators pieced together the sequence of events, a clearer picture began to emerge of how the attempted kidnapping unfolded and how narrowly it failed. According to police briefings, the incident took place in a quiet residential area where children are often seen playing and neighbors are accustomed to a sense of routine safety. The suspect allegedly approached the young girl under circumstances that are still being carefully examined, using a moment of isolation to initiate the abduction attempt. Authorities believe the situation escalated quickly, leaving very little time for intervention from bystanders. Law enforcement officials stated that during the early moments of the incident, the suspect's actions appeared calculated, suggesting prior intent rather than a spontaneous decision. Investigators are reviewing nearby surveillance footage and witness statements to determine how the suspect selected the location and the child. What is known so far is that at some point, the suspect's attention shifted, creating a brief but critical gap. It was during this short window that the girl managed to break away and look for a place to hide. Police reports indicate that the suitcase the child hid in was not specifically designed for concealment and was likely left in the area temporarily, possibly belonging to a nearby resident. Despite its ordinary purpose, it became the key factor in the child's escape. Authorities noted that the girl climbed inside and closed herself in, understanding that remaining hidden and silent was essential. This decision, made under intense fear, demonstrated an extraordinary level of situational awareness. For several minutes, the suspect reportedly searched the immediate surroundings, apparently confused by the child's sudden disappearance. Officers familiar with abduction cases say this confusion often disrupts a suspect's control over the situation. Without visual confirmation and under growing pressure, suspects may panic or abandon their plan altogether. In this case, police believe that uncertainty played a decisive role, ultimately forcing the suspect to flee the area without completing the crime. Neighbors later told authorities that they noticed unusual behavior, including someone moving hurriedly and appearing agitated. Some residents also reported hearing faint noises that did not immediately make sense, prompting concern that something was wrong. These observations, while subtle, became important pieces of information once police arrived on the scene. When officers conducted a thorough search of the area, they discovered the child inside the suitcase, frightened but physically unharmed. Emergency responders acted quickly, ensuring the girl received immediate medical attention and emotional support. Paramedics confirmed that she did not suffer serious injuries, though officials acknowledged the psychological impact of the ordeal could be significant. Child welfare specialists were brought in to assist the family, emphasizing the importance of long-term care following traumatic events. As details of the incident became public, authorities were careful to clarify that this was an exceptional case and not a typical or recommended response to danger. Law enforcement agencies stressed that while the child's actions were brave and ultimately effective, every situation is different, and safety guidance should always prioritize prevention and immediate reporting. Still, officers openly praised the girl's courage and credited her decision-making with preventing a potentially tragic outcome. The investigation has since expanded, with police canvassing the neighborhood and analyzing digital evidence to identify the suspect. Officials have released a description based on witness accounts and are urging anyone with relevant information to come forward. Increased patrols have been deployed in the area to reassure residents, many of whom expressed shock that such an incident could occur so close to home. From an investigative standpoint, the case highlights how quickly everyday environments can become scenes of serious crime. Experts say the suspect likely underestimated both the child's awareness and the attention of the surrounding community. That miscalculation, combined with the girl's quick thinking, ultimately led to the failure of the abduction attempt. As authorities continue their search, they emphasize that community vigilance remains a critical factor in preventing similar incidents. The cooperation between residents, first responders, and investigators has been described as essential in ensuring the child's safe recovery. While the case is still unfolding, this part of the story stands as a stark reminder of how narrow the line can be between danger and survival, and how decisive moments can alter the course of events forever. In the aftermath of the incident, authorities moved swiftly to ensure the child's safety while also addressing the broader implications of the case. Police confirmed that the girl was reunited with her family shortly after being found and was placed under medical and psychological observation as a precaution. While she did not suffer physical injuries, officials emphasized that the emotional impact of such an experience can be profound, particularly for a child. Counselors and child protection specialists have since been involved to help her and her family process the trauma and begin recovery. Law enforcement agencies described the outcome as a rare and fortunate one, noting that attempted kidnappings often result in prolonged investigations with uncertain endings. In this case, the quick resolution was credited to a combination of the child's actions, alert neighbors, and a rapid police response. Senior officers publicly praised the girl's presence of mind, calling her actions extraordinarily brave, while carefully avoiding language that might encourage children to imitate such behavior in dangerous situations. Officials stressed that the goal is not to romanticize the event but to learn from it. As news of the escape spread, public reaction was immediate and intense. Social media platforms were flooded with messages of relief, admiration, and concern. Many users described the story as both inspiring and deeply unsettling, highlighting how close the situation came to ending in tragedy. Parents in particular expressed renewed anxiety, sharing personal reflections about child safety and the vulnerabilities children face even in familiar environments. Community groups began organizing discussions focused on awareness and prevention, turning shock into collective action. Police also used the opportunity to reinforce safety guidelines for families. In press briefings, officials encouraged parents and guardians to have regular, age-appropriate conversations with children about recognizing danger, seeking help, and trusting their instincts. They emphasized that while no strategy can eliminate risk entirely, education and awareness can significantly improve outcomes. Schools and local organizations were urged to participate in safety programs designed to empower children without instilling fear. From a policy perspective, the case has drawn attention to the importance of community vigilance and infrastructure. City officials announced plans to review surveillance coverage in residential areas and evaluate lighting, visibility, and reporting mechanisms. Some local leaders called for increased funding for neighborhood watch programs, arguing that community awareness played a crucial role in the child's rescue. The incident has become a catalyst for broader conversations about public safety responsibilities shared between authorities and citizens. Meanwhile, the investigation into the suspect remains ongoing. Police have continued to analyze video footage, tips from the public, and forensic evidence gathered from the scene. Authorities reiterated their appeal for anyone with information to come forward, assuring anonymity where appropriate. While no arrests were immediately announced, officials expressed confidence that sustained public cooperation would help bring the suspect to justice. They also warned that attempted abduction cases are treated with the highest priority due to the potential risk to other children. Experts in child psychology have weighed in on the incident, noting that the girl's response, while effective, was shaped by instinct rather than training. They cautioned against framing the story as a blueprint for survival, explaining that children should never be expected to handle such threats alone. Instead, professionals argue that the real lesson lies in prevention, supervision, and rapid community response. The child's escape, they say, should be viewed as an exception rather than an expectation. As days pass, the story continues to resonate beyond the immediate community. News outlets have framed it as a reminder of both vulnerability and resilience, illustrating how ordinary settings can suddenly become dangerous, yet also how human courage can emerge in the most unexpected moments. For many, the image of a child surviving through silence and quick thinking has become symbolic, prompting reflection on how society protects its youngest members. Ultimately, officials hope the lasting impact of this case will be increased awareness rather than fear. While the incident exposed serious risks, it also demonstrated the power of attentiveness, cooperation, and timely action. As the investigation proceeds and the child focuses on healing, the broader community is left with a renewed sense of responsibility. The story stands not just as an account of a narrow escape, but as a call to remain vigilant, informed, and united in safeguarding children from harm.